All right, who's giving the first recap? I'm gonna roll a d2. If it's 1, it's me. If it's 2, it's Salty. All right, it's me. Inside a city, as it turns out, there's a lot less problem with positioning. You can throw together some people that are good with a sword, and they'll generally hit the right direction, kill the thing that you're asking them to kill. When you're in the wilderness and spells start getting thrown around, as well as a little bit more chaos, the training that I have received is to an extent where it is not common knowledge among other people. What it boils down to is I've had a couple of my spells canceled so far. Nearly lost Asuriel to a very angry, very rabid giant angry cat.
Wilderness is kind of scary. Coming from where I'm at Acrio to Korsava, it was okay. It was just the spider. That was pretty scary, but I fight it off. And then this really, really angry cat came out of nowhere. And I didn't have much of a chance to do anything before it nearly tore my back out. And I kind of ruined one of Acrio's spells. And it didn't even work what I was trying to do.
Yeah, so we took care of that. The thing was so malnourished we couldn't even pull anything from it. I think Amrita got a couple useful things at most. After that, everybody got their rest. Asuriel's worse for wear, I think. During the night, something happened to Lorelei. She was a little stressed in the morning. She was approaching Asuriel's tent with the expression that you have when you're about to murder somebody, with her flail in hand. Things are okay now, luckily, but a little weird. And after that, we made out on the road again. Did not take long for things to go bad again. Amrita turns a corner, bunch of zombies surrounding us.
And now I think there's a lot more hurt coming because there's a lot of undead, and they're really tough. And everyone's really badly injured. And I think we're in really big trouble, and I think I screwed up again. Oh, I hope we're gonna live through this one.
Amrita's almost dead. I'm currently dying. I'm writing this in the very quick expanse as my life flashes before my eyes.
As Acrio said, his life is flashing before his eyes as he is very close to bleeding out, still barely conscious, maintaining concentration on a divine blade spell, although it's encompassing his hammer. And yeah, surrounded by 3 ghouls. There's moonbeams shining down, his spiritual weapon hammer flying about. Amrita and Cillian have both kind of ducked into the bushes. The Ghalst that seems to be kind of leading this group of undead has rushed Lorelei and Asuriel, this putrid stench coming off of her rotting body. All of them have these purple glowing eyes, which is unusual. You don't really see that in undead, especially not the ones that animate naturally. This is certainly the work of a ghoul caller, and not one that you've encountered before.
If only we had, what is it, spiritual guardians or whatever the fuck. If only we had that right now.
All right,
fireball.
Which one looks the worst for wear around me?
What's your passive perception?
It's a 14. I don't remember which one I've hit. Is the thing.
Yeah, I mean they've all been hit.
Month.
They're all dead.
Actually, that one took damage from the rays, so I might as well finish that one off.
Yeah, that one's in the moonbeam, so.
Although I would say with your passive perception, you would say it looks like This one here is probably a closer. That necromancy holding it together is flickering a little faster, getting a little more dim. Not much more than the others, but slightly.
I'm in a really tight pickle right now. I'm going to use all 3 of my scorching rays.
Okay.
We'll start off with a spiritual weapon. Thank you.
Nope.
And then I'll do all 3 scorching rays against this one right here.
Okay. That is a ranged spell attack, is it not?
Fuck.
I would say you know that as a person who's used it before, so you wouldn't necessarily have to do that. You know, Acrio would know, even if you forgot. So if you want to take that back, that's fine.
Can I just
Keep
use
the
that
roll for
my
the hammer.
hammer? Yeah, I'll use the roll for the hammer. So that's
16 does hit.
I'll just roll this to get the damage out there. That's not.
Yeah,
Oh, it does that. Oh, okay, that doesn't count.
That's just
Okay.
to get the damage out.
Alright, so 5. That's not a lot of damage. The blade does 6. Okay.
If you had hit with that spiritual weapon, it would probably have been destroyed.
Love
But it
that.
is not quite, just barely holding itself together. The hammer crushes its rib cage in. It's completely concaved, but the arms just keep flailing. Broken off teeth snarling in your face. Yeah, Cillian from the bushes, try to do a bonus action hide. That was
That was the cast. I'm scared.
no,
Oh,
it wasn't.
dear.
It's just that's who my speaking as is set to right now. I'm gonna put that back to me. But yes, no, that's Cillian, and he will then have advantage on attack against the one that did look a little more damaged, just because that's who he was aiming at before Acrio started attacking with a needle from the dark. Most of you have lost sight of Cillian at this point because there's so many dead bodies around you attacking. Amrita has ducked behind this tree into this low undergrowth, so you don't even see, just barely a glint of light on this small needle that flies through the air, piercing. You see it go through the back of the head and stick out the eye, and this one groans and then drops forward on its face.
Thank you for that description.
Horrifying.
Yes,
Thank you.
very.
Thank you, Connie,
Cillian
very
has, like, I just imagine Cillian having, like, a super buff arm that he just throws darts at, like, 1,000 miles an hour.
It's all in the wrist, really.
What about here? And she'll make sure her headband is lifted up enough, and she's going to cast Eye Bite on the one who seems to be the leader with the panic effect. Aha! She
Oh.
failed.
All right.
Creepy lady
does
coming
that-
out of the bush. Very scary.
How does that feel for Amrita, having spoken briefly or heard a voice in her head not too long ago from this eye she had never heard speak before, and now trying to force it to bend to her control yet again? What is that like for her?
She still does not think what had happened back in Corsiva. She does not believe it was real, and it was more of an illusion given the blood loss at the time she had experienced, and she feels she's going through that again, so much blood and everything on the ground, and just feels herself gritting her teeth and just almost feeling the werewolf side of her as well, trying to rip out. It's like, nah, not that way, and just stares intently at this thing, feeling the eye move and its magic probably tried to grip a hold of this undead thing.
Lorelei and Asuriel, as you're kind of standing next to it, feeling that, stench in your nostrils, you see it get distracted away from you, turn toward Amrita, and you can see that eye in the center of her forehead glowing, radiating slightly under, with the bandana pulled back. And the ghast seems to shudder and start to move back. Lorelei, you are within 5 feet of this creature because it has not had a chance to move yet, so I need you to make a sanity saving throw, please.
Sanity, I'm really good at that. I'm not really good at that.
The smell makes you want to retch, but it's more than that. It's like something, it's not just in your gut, but it's in your head. There's something enhanced by black mana, and you are effectively poisoned until the start of your next turn.
Oh.
Or no, until the start of the ghast's next turn, which I guess is,
So
right
just
up, but...
poisoned for my whole turn, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That is annoying, but if I recall rightly last time, I don't have the greatest of memories, but I think because my bless had just got broken, I haven't used the flail's kind of boost now that my concentration's broken. Yeah, so do I go for the one next to me or do I go for the ghast?
Big hitties.
Because it would give me advantage, but because I have disadvantage, it's just a regular roll, but it's still going to do that extra d8 of damage if I hit it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to go for the ghast, because that one seems like the leader, and I'm hoping that if I hit it, it will all fall down. Gonna do it. And that is 4 blood, and then it's an extra d8 that I forgot to...
Is this the first thing you've actually attacked with the flail that's really connected?
Yeah. This is the first actual hit I think I've managed to land with it. No, wait, no, I bapped,
Bludgeoned the
I bapped
cat.
Pierce with it.
Oh yeah, she
Oh,
did.
yeah.
I bapped Pierce to death with it. Once.
So this is the second time.
This is
Smash
two.
a vampire
So yeah, with
head.
the second time you've ever used this, it's got that additional boost, that magic that you had been channeling into a spell broken, you feel absorbed into it. How does it feel for Lorelei to use this in a way that's got this extra potency to it?
She has almost like a maddened look in her eyes, like she's way too eager to like arc it down into this ghast's head. Like there's like a crack of a smile on her face.
Oh no. She's evil. Kill her.
Misses the head slightly. That little bit of tremor for being, poisoned in your mind hits the shoulder. You feel that collarbone break under the weight of this silver flail. Hard to tell how much that really hurt undead thing, because they don't react the way a living creature would, and it seems almost more focused still on Amrita.
And with kind of incensed by that, like, I can hit something, I can hurt something, she's going to bring down, for bonus action, her spiritual weapon. I'm going to whip my spiritual weapon out, and I'm going to go for the ghast again with it. Ikapwa!
Hey.
She is so excited for this right now.
Okay, roll another d20.
Laura's like, I don't know if I want to be violent up in people's faces.
But yes, she does.
I'm choosing violence today! It's force damage. Yeah, Lorelei is a little too eager to batter undead into the ground.
Yeah, so it is a mystic magnet. Roll twice as many damage dice as normal. Creature is spellbound for the next minute. It makes saving throws against spells with disadvantage, and spell attack rolls have advantage.
I've got an idea.
At the end of its turns, it can make an intelligence throw to end the effect, but it is not particularly intelligent because it is just an undead thing. That bluish spectral energy that kind of hovers around the spiritual weapon that takes kind of the shape of this gravedigger's shovel that's kind of shattered comes down on it, and the blue mana just kind of radiates off of the ghast. It must use its action to dash away, so it will.
It's going to give us some time to deal with these little guys before she comes back.
In a thiswardly direction around, it runs around the bend. You hear it scurrying through the dirt, clawing at the edge of the wall, screeching as it's just trying to get as far away as it can.
Is that forced movement?
No, I mean, it's a dash action, so you do get attacks of opportunity against it. Lorelei would be the only one who can, but...
Yeah.
I have Warcaster, so I can do a cantrip. I'm gonna sacred flame it as she leaves. She does disadvantage on the bird.
Nice. However, in her panic, she still manages to make it and gets out of sight as this sacred fire does not
Too
connect.
fast. I'm not used to
She's very quick.
scorching things yet.
But Asuriel, that smell that had been permeating your nostrils is no longer around, so you don't have to make any saving throw.
Yay! I'm gonna scurry over here and do a little cure wounds on Acrio because it looks like he needs it.
Yay! I forgive you for fucking the spells.
Shut up.
Ooh, that's
Nice.
double my current HP.
Oh!
And is enough to seal up his wounds so he's no longer bleeding.
Step over that one so he can't get flanked. And also hiding.
Cower
Alright.
behind the
He's
big
gonna
armored man.
hide. Okay.
There are two of these that are still turned, climbing over it. That's as far as that one can get. That one
and
rushes
then-
around the cart as well. And this
Oh,
one,
yeah.
still standing in the moonbeam, will have to make a con save.
Meme. Aww.
What is with the sixes today? There's so many sixes being rolled.
It is sizzled and screeches, and hands like twist in as steam rises off of it, and it falls to the ground unmoving. The
That's-
radiance burning away the necromancy that had held it together.
Yay.
Good.
There is still one next to Lorelei, one next to Acrio, and they will attack in that order. And second one
Yes.
does not at all. Then against Acrio, one hand clawing at your armor, just pulling at your cloak. It will then try to bite for no exposed skin, but just the broken teeth, some of which are missing out of its skull, just start gnawing on you.
Delicious.
You hear one of them chip and break off out of its face against your armor.
Oh, God. Ugh.
Ah!
Mm.
Do we want to murder the person running away? The zombie lady?
Ideally. But you know, there is a more immediate threat right next to you.
My hammer's going to bash his skull in.
Yeah, because she will still be panicked until she gets 60 feet away
There
from
we
us.
go. So,
Yeah, so we might as well deal
mhm.
with these little guys before she comes back.
That's why I went with panicked in the first place, because she wouldn't have
Yeah.
to make an automatic saving and would just have to wait till she runs away.
Nice removal though. Clutch.
Yes. Thanks.
Hammer does hit this one in the back, probably snaps a spine. A few
Yeah,
vertebrae are busted.
How's it looking?
So visceral, Jake.
I'll smack it.
Just enough.
Oh! Hey!
Hey.
Baby damage. That's a 1.
And some Gisela damage.
Oh, yeah.
It had not really been attacked much at all. You're wailing on it, and it's still continuing to claw and bite at your armor. Cillian gonna do well. He can't really move anywhere, so he can't really get to another hidden position. So he will just attack from where he's at.
Why can't he move?
I mean, he could, but like, where else would he hide other than where he's at right now? And if you just walk out and go right back where you were, you can't hide in the same spot. So
Yeah, it's just like hide behind Amrita's fat ass.
Excuse you.
She's like 7 feet tall.
Yeah, but that's you know, upwards. You can't really hide in upwards. It's like hiding behind a lamppost.
You can't see me.
still hits though. And
Like you were so
yet again, another needle drops one of these ghouls.
Only he was here.
Yeah, Amrita, you start to see these ghouls just dropping like flies.
Right. I still have my bow and will aim at the one near Lorelei since the other ones have ran off for now.
Mhm.
Sorry, ignore the fire. That's obviously not
Yeah,
up.
didn't have the crimson right on that, but still 11 piercing, not bad. Yeah,
That's
Lorelei, you just see the arrow shoot through its cheek and like out the other side of its temple, but it's still moving as if nothing happened.
I'm gonna have nightmares later.
Yeah, this is gonna be visiting me in my dreams for sure.
As you are no longer poisoned and you're up.
I am going to bring my spiritual weapon over and try and swiftly make an end on his undead lifeness.
Oh my god.
Spiritual weapon doing the work today, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my god.
She is eager to kill.
Bewitching blow. Twice as many damage as normal. Spellbound until the end of its next turn.
Again, wow. Again with the spellboundedness.
Damn.
I mean, that's what force damage tends to do. Same thing. This broken Ghalst-like shovel smashes into it, and the blue radiance kind of just flickers off of it, kind of shimmers on its undeath.
And with my action, I'm going to Sacred Flame.
Double nat 20.
Don't you? Oh, thank God.
That will fail.
Thank Avacyn. Still free radiance.
Yeah, it
Wow.
stumbles back just as this beam of light hits that space. It almost stumbles into it and shrieks.
Get a load of this edgelord praising Avacyn now.
You're injured. I'm not listening to you. You're delirious. Don't know what you're saying.
Ghalst will make an int save against its spellboundness.
However far that Ghalst is, I'm gonna move the moonbeam towards it.
How
Can you
far
move
can
it?
you move
Actually-
the moonbeam?
Actually, Jake, this was the panicked.
I know, but it was also spellbound from.
Oh, so it was making me
Lorelei's
safe
crit.
from the other thing. Got it. Okay.
Yes.
I was just
Saving
making
against my
sure.
spellbound.
Mm-hmm.
I can move it 60 feet.
That is just not enough to make it,
Damn it.
because it was outside of it. It moved 60 feet. If you moved another 60 feet, it would still be just outside it.
Alright.
Torch this one in front of me.
Yeah, just move the moonbeam over to Lorelei's little gremlin over there.
I take no claim over this.
I don't own this thing, as it's like gnawing at her arm and she lifts it up.
Lift
This
it up.
isn't
It's
mine.
like, aye.
The clouds in the sky just start to drift slightly, and this beam of light that comes down from the little space within them shifts over the ghoul. If that
Holy
is
magnifying
everything
glass.
on your turn, it will be its turn to make a con save against it.
Yes, I'm just gonna use my font of magic, because I have one sorcery point left.
Oh,
So
fuck
as
that
you see
magic.
her focusing and the clouds shifting, you know that she's like manipulating it this way. Asuriel's eyes, you can see behind the eyelids, like when you put a flashlight in your mouth and it glows red. It's like that.
Oh my
You
god.
see that the flesh starts to glow somewhat, and she opens her eyes to this incredibly bright white light shining out of them for just a moment.
Hey, it
roll
fails
that.
again.
Radiance.
Burn it.
Oh,
Burn it.
Holy
Burn it all
cow!
down.
Look at that.
Burnt to a crisp.
whiskey.
Oh, it's good.
Those two
So we-
continue to run. I'm gonna roll something that I was going to do and then forgot.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
How many of these immediately come back to life?
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Mhm. Okay.
Here.
Acrio, as far as you can see, there are two carts ahead up the road that have been pillaged. These ghouls were ripping through them. You don't know why. They're the two that are running away, and the other that had run, the Ghalst had run around the corner, still with that kind of like blue shimmer around it, the curve in the embankment of the road, and that one's out of sight. So that's what you're left with.
Yeah,
Every one of the
you know
ones
what?
around you has fallen.
I want to burn that bitch while I have advantage against her. So I'll use 3 scorching rays. So
Against the Ghalst.
Yeah.
So you step around the corner to look, and you do not see her anywhere.
Where the
Oh.
fuck did she go?
Oh no.
Oh fuck.
Do not like.
Oh no, where did she go?
I'm going to move into a more defensive position right
here, where everybody can kind of get behind me and we can get closer to the carts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna move my hammer right here, and I'm gonna hold an action.
Holding Scorching Rays.
Yeah, I'll hold Scorching Ray to see if the bitch shows up to murder us. And I'll tell her,
none of
get behind me!
With none of them really present, Cillian shifts kind of back into the foliage, and he will attempt to make a hide. Probably successfully, as none of you can really tell where he went.
Cillian?
We're never too sure if he's just abandoned us or just hiding.
Never quite sure where he is.
And Amrita.
You will utilize the eye to see if she can spot the monster.
Yes, the undead thing. You can make a perception check with advantage.
You also see Cillian.
From where you are at, you cannot.
Damn it.
You do, catch sight of where Cillian is going. Your advanced ears kind of pick up just the subtle rustle of leaves. Glance over to him, but as you're watching, I will keep that number in mind, but you do not see where this other undead has gone.
Alright.
So Lorelei.
I can't. We can't go into the moonbeam either, right? Like if we walk into it, it's gonna scald us as well, right?
When you walk,
the beginning of your turn.
Yeah, I don't think it's when you enter it on your turn. It's only if you start there. So yeah, you can walk through it without having
Okay,
an
so I
issue.
can walk through it, but I just gotta
don't
hold the
stop
cloak up
there.
and run through it.
Don't stay
In
there.
that case, I will run behind Acrio, and I'm gonna keep my spiritual weapon like kind of around here, just in case she comes back that way. I'm going to hold a sacred flame. I'll get the fire going.
Okay.
Silvery, bluish, grayish fire.
Asuriel. Actually, yeah, she will make another intelligence check to see if she's spellbound or not. She is still spellbound.
She's gonna go hide behind Acrio over there. Not
There's just a
hesitating.
wall where everyone hides behind.
Wait, no, she's just gonna hold action Ice Knife in case something shows up.
Okay.
Trying to attack.
What's everybody looking like? When I look around, is everybody hurting?
Marita's the only one who's taken a lot, as
Okay.
a bunch of claws and teeth tore into her. She looks pretty bad. The others, okay enough.
Okay.
And Cillian, you don't know where he's at.
Yeah, I'll hold another action. Because everybody can move with me before she goes, I'll move back like this. Hammer.
Okay.
Yeah. Because everybody can
Alrighty.
keep up with me. Keep holding Scorching Ray.
Okay. Cillian is also maintaining.
I don't like where she's going to show up.
Amrita, you finally catch sight of a bit of movement up at the top of the embankment near
I knew
that
it.
tree. Nobody else can see this. You're the first to catch any movement. Everyone else still hidden from, but you catch just enough. Quick flash as she moves, and you are able to make an attack if you so choose.
She does. Quickly shoots her arrow
You
up.
hit.
Yeah, I'm gonna just tell Lorelei and Asuriel, get back away from the tree, and shoots the arrow up.
Again, ignoring fire. You see the arrow stick just as your bowstring twing lets go. It hits and then disappears with her body into the foliage. So nobody else, again, passive perception's not enough to know where she's at. But Amrita, you see her duck and hide again, but takes the arrow with her
All right, and Amrita's going to move probably right here so she can kind of widen her vision.
Yeah, so Lorelei, you've heard this warning from Amrita. You look up, you don't see anything, but Amrita's...
I got the idea of kind of which direction she was on about.
She said the tree, the only main big tree that you can see is,
Yeah, I'm gonna
this kind of dead one up at the top of the hill.
duck up to by Acrio, and then I'm gonna move the spiritual weapon, like kind of up in front of Asuriel as like a proxy guard as I back away. It's like, Asuriel, move!
The ghast reappears, leaping off the ledge, down onto Asuriel, who's the only one who is yet to move.
Oh, fuck! Wait, shit!
You will all get some attacks that you have held, but she is going to leap and fall onto Asuriel and also be attacking at the same time, you guys. So...
I held my
You
sacred
skipped
flame, so...
through the Banshee so many times I forgot where she was in the initiative.
Yep.
Because you just like clicked
She's a
through
ghast,
the
not a banshee, but yeah.
Yeah, ghast, banshee, bitch, piece of shit.
So, can I get my ice knife out or not?
Maybe. We'll see what happens when you get hit from an unseen attacker. Right. What's your passive perception? It's not above 20, is it?
No, it's 14.
Okay. Then it'll be, unseen attack.
Bye, Asuriel. Wait. Oh, no, it's a saving throw. Yeah, you're fucked. Only Robin can cancel crits, and she's not high
I
up
can't
level
do
yet.
that right now!
Yeah, she's not high up.
18! No!
Goodbye!
Oh, God. Avacyn.
Are you wearing light or no armor, Asuriel?
I have no armor. Wait! I have mirror image on.
Oh!
Oh my
I
god, you
do.
do!
I cast it when she got up in my face
You
last
do
time.
have mirror image!
Okay.
Yeah, when you were by me
Then-
over in the...
Shit. You might not be dead.
Are all
Oh
of
my
them
God.
still up, or have any of them been taken
I
down?
don't think she was attacked once.
No, she wasn't. I wasn't attacked. Wait.
What do you roll for that?
What was
You have to
what
roll a
was the
d20
again?
to see which one
Mhm.
they hit. If you have 3 duplicates, you must roll a 6 or higher to change the attack's target to a
Okay.
duplicate.
I'm good.
You also watch in horror as one of the Asuriels who has been moving around just gets absolutely shredded out of existence.
Just hear Acrio scream, no! Oh, wait.
Lorelei screams as well, like, ah! Oh, she's fine.
Fucking good God.
Oh my
I believe
God.
the second one would hit, so roll another.
You have to, with 2
Mirror image?
duplicates, you must roll an 8 or higher.
I'm good.
Another duplicate goes down. That is all she can do. So throw your ice knife.
Is there just 2 Asuriels now?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
That will just hit.
Nice.
You would.
Okay, so it would be
Solid.
1 piercing, but she needs to do what save for the cold?
I think it's Dex or Con.
It is yes, Dex.
That was not supposed to be an advantage, so she will take the 6 cold as well.
Okay.
You had a Sacred Flame prepared?
I
Lorelei?
did.
Okay. That was a Dex save also. She will take 3,
And then,
as in a quick panic, just flame, she gets hit,
Little spark, just...
and then Scorching Rays.
hello. She still has that thingamajig that gives me advantage.
Spellbound.
Oh yes, so yeah, she would have actually had
Disadvantage on that.
disadvantage
Oh
on
no.
that ice knife, yeah.
No.
But took it
Die.
anyway. Okay.
Die.
Mm-hmm.
Die.
Oh
Save.
god.
Give me a d20.
Oh!
Oh, that sucks.
Even still, roll damage for all 3 of them. Because they still all hit.
Oh, wait, fuck. I was flipping
Yeah,
the
don't
crit
roll
one.
the crit one multiple
Okay,
times.
so that's...
And then another one.
Well, hold
Wait.
up.
Wait,
If you
can't
count the
just...
damage from the crit as the 9 for the second
Yeah,
attack,
so it'd
and then
be
the 6 for
5,
the
9,
first,
and then 6.
so 20 damage.
Yeah.
How do you want to do this, Acrio?
Oh, yay!
Ah, It's just
Oh, I saw
Drama.
That scared the dog.
as soon as she drops to the ground and sees the claw kill the second clone, like as her claw does the overswing from inertia, he just takes that opportunity of her being vulnerable, and you just see boom, 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 and then just 3 motes of fire just take her fucking head off and leave it a smoldering nothing.
She still continues with no head to claw at Asuriel, just slowing down, just with each one as it's like going for the duplicate and then catching her ankles to try to kick it off. Eventually, on the ground, prone, she just reaches out, claws at the dirt, and stops moving.
It was really that weird high-pitched wheeze scream as it fucking destroyed the clone.
Does Turn Undead ever stop working, or are they just gonna keep running away?
It's for a
It's a
minute, I
minute or
think.
10 minutes, something like that. But yeah,
Oh.
It's a minute.
there's like another 6 or 7 rounds that they just keep dashing away. So yeah,
just
All right,
unless
I'll
Asuriel wants
start.
to hit one of them right now and bring it
just
back.
start pot-shotting them.
Yes, pot shot. Firebolt this little dude.
Okay.
Wow.
Direct hit with this silver flame.
And she's
That will
gonna
go ahead.
over to Acrio.
No longer turned. It will just dash back because they are mindless.
Amrita, you might want to move.
And Acrio, yeah, you see the one that gets hit with fire turn and just doing this.
Oh God, you
back.
practiced that too much.
Don't
I haven't
don't
practiced that at all. That was off the cuff.
That's worse.
That's worse. Yeah, I'll move over, abandon those 2. Move my hammer 25 feet. It's not supposed to be advantage, but still 16.
Even still, 16 will hit.
And then a bluey. And then a pa.
Yeah, the 5 bludgeoning was enough to do it.
Oh. Yeah, just turn the corner and just ping.
The other ghoul is like far out of sight at this point, like barely even a dot on the horizon. It may make its way back, it may not, you don't know. But in either case,
Lorelei immediately turns and just pulls Asuriel in and just like holds her there for a minute, like gave us a heart attack there, Missy.
you grab her duplicate first, your arm just kind of moves through it, and you find the real one.
It's like the last 2 weeks flashed before my eyes.
Her entire life, but it's only 2 weeks.
Oh. I shouldn't have left you out in the open like that. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. You just really like coming after me at the last moment.
Acro rounds the corner and he's like, well, in all defense, you're a very easy target to hit.
Yeah.
He just kind of looks down at her and like, yeah. You think I could wear armor too?
You know,
Maybe.
anything's possible.
Maybe we'll get you some scary shoulder pads so you don't look as,
Killable.
like a rabbit in the lantern light.
Yeah.
While all 3 of them are talking, Amrita goes and looks over the cart and everything. How long, is there a way to discern how long it's been here?
Yeah, potentially. Make a survival check.
Amrita looks in and another zombie jumps out and bites her.
And you can also make an investigation check as well.
All right.
Everything looks fairly old. You markedly do not find any bodies. Doesn't look like anyone was being eaten by these ghouls. There's no flesh or blood strewn about. It's like they were tearing through these carts, which you can't determine exactly how long they've been here, but it's probably a month or more.
she'll look at the second one as well, or would that be included with?
Yeah,
the
you're
roll
looking
okay.
over both of them. You find traveling supplies, home goods, a number of books, some of which the ghouls had kind of like ripped apart and thrown onto the ground as they were searching for something. But you do find there's a smell that hits you, and you can't place it at first, but then you follow it, and on the ground nearby, this second part, the one that's covered, you find a torn piece of almost lace, or like a crocheted bit. It's kind of like torn on the roots growing out of a tree that's over the top of it. And as soon as you find it, that kind of ivory color, the smell immediately reminds you of Jan's daughter.
Holy crap, yeah. Amrita quickly picks that up and just looks at it intently. Those sons of bitches.
What's up, Amrita? Did you find something?
Well, all I can tell is that no one was hurt with this cart, but it belongs to Jan's family. This is clothing of his daughters. The one I spoke of that was in the basement of the manor.
So she got away.
That means if she got away, at least, his son and wife could also still be alive. Whether or not they were like him to begin with.
Well, I hope for their sake that they're not anything like him. Because if they were, well, we'll have to dispose of them equally, I suppose.
Surrounds like, we need to get to Ghalst before it becomes nightfall.
I'm gonna search the body of the leader-looking bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Just because she seemed a little odd.
Can I also have somebody roll? Let's go with 2 d10s.
I want to do it, please. I'm gonna do it.
It's odd. It looks like these undead of sorts were looking for something. Whether it be the family or what, but it just looks different.
So someone sent them here.
Yes, and this cart, Gage has been here about a month, so could have sat here once before it was gone, so who knows?
But they still seem to be looking for something.
Maybe some kind of valuables. Maybe they were holding on to something precious. Who knows?
Acrio, you can make an investigation check. Lorelei, looking over a couple of these books amongst some of the other items that have been strewn about, you find one called Alchemy or the Science of Magic by an author named Geralt Sassani. And you find one called The Adventures of Liam Van Rickmores. Looks like volume 1. It's one you would have heard of from when you were a kid. It's an old set of stories. There's a ton in the series. It's kind of a pulp adventure sort of situation that's fairly well known in Innistrad. A lot of people have read those. And there's also a book that has the cover is torn off and you can't really, pieces of it are missing, but it looks like an older printing of something. You'd have to kind of read it to figure out what it's about because the cover's missing, but those are the ones amongst
gather up
the
those
possessions.
books.
Does Amrita notice the one with the alchemy? See that she's picking those up?
Yeah,
Sure.
she'd probably be reading them out as she picks them up.
Amrita quickly, give me that book now, please.
Okay. Just gives her the
She quickly starts to look through it, and does it look like her mentor's notes, his exact writing?
It's a printed book. It's not a journal. It doesn't look like his at all. It's by an author named Ghalst Sasani. Does not ring a bell. The name?
Oh wait, maybe I'm just confusing names.
Yeah, your mentor's name was Garrick.
I'm stupid.
While the subject is certainly something familiar, the author's name, once you look at that, you realize it's not related at all. However, it could potentially improve your alchemical abilities or give you some additional tips. You don't know. Depends on how much you want to spend time reading.
Never mind. I thought this was something else. I mean, it's still something alchemy. I need to get a kit at one point. She just starts muttering to herself, but quickly closes the book.
Yeah, hold on to it. It'll probably come in more handy for you.
Yeah, Acrio, you don't really find anything of interest on the Ghalst while you would probably know she very clearly had more necromancy poured into her to reanimate her, and the lesser intelligent ones seem to follow, likely under directive of the ghoul caller that created them all. She doesn't have anything special about her other than that.
What's the condition of these carts, and how heavy are they?
They're, as heavy as normal carts. They don't seem to really be damaged all that much. Doesn't seem like they were being intentionally torn apart. It's more like they were being searched for something, possibly the owners, possibly evidence of where they were going. You're not sure exactly what the ghouls were looking for, or how long they had even been at it, but they're weathered somewhat. They've been out for a while, but most carts are weathered because that's just what you do with them.
Even mine is, because I leave it outside. I'm going to take everything from this one and put it into this one, and then attach it all to the back of mine.
Okay, so you're taking all the personal effects and everything like that?
Yeah, just in case there's something in there that we find later. Should pack it all up, tie it down, make it all neat, because we don't need people back there.
While moving everything, you find a few tintype photographs, grayscale. You don't recognize anybody in them. You find what was some food stocks that have gone bad sitting out in the weather. Yeah. Unfortunately, nothing much you can do with that.
Anything obviously trash like food, throw it onto the road.
There's a few suitcases that have been packed that you can see have been torn open and kind of strewn about, but there is some clothing that can be obtained from that. A few men's clothes that could probably fit you if you needed an extra set. There are some longer dresses for a woman. Might fit Asuriel, definitely shorter than Amrita, and there is also some child-sized clothing.
Hey, a dress for a normal woman would just be a short skirt for Amrita.
Miniskirt.
Yeah, but the sleeves would probably not be long enough either.
Short sleeve shirt, short sleeve dress. Yeah, so I'll throw.
But they're older. They're like old, lacy, kind of rich person.
Yeah.
Clothing.
You know what? And maybe I can sell that later on, because rich people.
Or you could tailor something.
Yeah.
Cillian would probably start looking it over. He could probably retailer some of this if he were to commune with one of his other spirits. So he would just kind of be, muttering about that.
Based on what I've seen from the necromancy of these zombies, does it look familiar to me? Do I kind of recognize this style? Or does it just seem like someone else? Doesn't seem like, the work of someone I might know.
Yeah, no, it does not. That purple glow in their eyes is not something you recognize from past experience. So this is a different ghoul caller.
That's good and bad.
So, yeah, once everything's thrown together, I'll usher everybody back in the carts. And away we go.
Away we go.
Get on and starts to...
Is anyone else going to search any of these bodies besides Acrio? Just giving a brief glance.
Amrita will, sure.
Just curious.
Yeah, I'll look around. I'll look around at a couple while I'm kind of trying to deduce this necromancy thing.
I rolled a 3.
Yeah, because you would be looking at that.
For Amrita, after seeing some of the stuff
Nope.
with Jan, she's going to investigate anything else that might be related to the cult and things of that nature. I don't know.
So, yes, because you are looking for that, again, Lorelei, you don't find anything that strikes your interest as far as, trying to determine if this necromancer is related to the one that you've had to deal with in the past. The Ghalst yields nothing interesting for Amrita. However, looking over two of the ghouls, a lot of their flesh is rotted away. However, on one of them, you find on the neck, and the other one on the upper forearm, there is an old tattoo of the letter V. In this kind of one, they're different. One's kind of stylized and flourished. The other one's a little more simplistic, but both of them reminiscent of the tattoo you found on the Burgomaster Jan's neck.
She growls quietly to herself upon seeing that and stands up. She doesn't tell the others about it right away and gets on Petunia, but sort of mutters to herself, I think it's time to bring up something so no one else dies before we go to Ghalst. She mentions it quietly off to herself, though, getting on Petunia, and then starts to prepare to ride ahead and go past the cart. Not too far, though, but ready to get on the journey.
Yeah, you're kind of doing that as Acrio is lashing some tethers from one cart, because it's only got two wheels, so attaching the lead boards, whatever those are called, the two on the front, attaching those to the back of his initial cart to pull behind it. That will slow down travel somewhat. The mules will have to work a little harder to pull the additional weight, but...
Yeah. We could always tie up Amrita's horse, but I think she'd try and kill me.
Yeah.
One more thing. I'm just for good measure, I'm gonna flip over the other cart onto its back just in case anybody was hiding anything under it. Nothing. Nope. Okay, let's go.
Cyril may just quickly ritual cast to detect magic on one of the zombies here. Just like she could learn the signature in case they run into this ghoul caller again.
Make an Arcana check as you do that, because most of the necromancy has faded when you destroyed them. You do definitely get a black mana kind of swirling around them. It's possible that you'll recognize it again, but not highly probable.
Alright.
But yeah, Lorelei, you would see as Amrita climbs up on her horse, there's like a smear of red in its white hair.
Oh dear. Wait until we stop to deal with that. But I'll keep an eye on her just in case she looks like she's a little dizzy or anything. But on the way, I'm gonna have a read over that tattered book that is a mess. I'm gonna have a pour through that.
So you climb up in the back of Acrio's initial cart with his covered barrels, jangling blades, and weaponry within.
Have a nice casual lounge and have a peruse.
But then you also do have The Adventures of Liam Van Rickmore's.
Oh yeah, keeping that.
Cyril's looking over her shoulder to read it.
Yeah, I'm curious about this shitty book with a ripped up cover though.
Make a literacy check. Because I know you speak common, but what would be good for that?
Me or Asuriel?
Asuriel.
Okay. I was like, I can read.
Yeah, I know.
I write a journal. I can read.
That's
She
not.
does have calligrapher's tools, though.
It's like, listen, I know I was a hermit, but...
Exactly, but the question is, can you read as quickly as Lorelei's flipping the pages to get the story is what I want to know. Just roll a percentage. I'll just do it that way.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you get about half of it. Yeah, you definitely know how to read. You speak the common language, Asuriel. But yeah, picking up the words, it's like you read most of a page, and then Lorelei's already turned to the next one. You're like, wait, what? Not done.
Only getting like the first third of the double page spread.
Mm-hmm. And Amrita's leading the charge yet again,
Yep, being very cautious and looking around.
keeping her teeth gritted as she's trying not to focus on bleeding out.
Yeah. How many hours will it take until we get to Ghalst?
Make a survival check.
Is it worth spending my last second level
A lot.
prayer of healing?
I have that.
Everybody gets,
I
everybody gets
have prayer of
2d8 plus
healing.
spell? Okay.
If that's your last spell slot, I still have 2. If that's like your last amount of magic, I would keep that because
I think he's got 4 first levels left.
Yeah,
yeah,
I've
but
got
prayer of healing
4
second
first.
level.
I know, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the last of his magic.
Yeah,
But
the last
but
of it's like
second
higher
level.
level. You need your
Okay,
spiritual
fine.
weapon and stuff.
Oh yeah, I need my. Okay, fine. You can use yours. What?
Yeah.
What is everybody's HP at? Would everybody benefit from this?
I would benefit. I'm not.
Cillian
Bloody
would be the
minute.
only one who would not. He seems totally fine.
But that's still
I can
4.
use a little extra.
That's 4 out of 5. So yeah, let's
It's up
keep
to 6 with
Alright.
prayer of healing, so I think that's worth it.
Yeah.
What's
we
the
can-
range on that?
30 feet.
How would you ask Amrita to hang back while you're doing this?
Amrita, I'm gonna cast a spell. Can you just stay a little closer, please? It'll heal you. It'll just take 10 minutes, and then you can go back off. It's fine.
She slows down Petunia so that can happen, and then hurries up to go again.
During the time as you hear Lorelei holding her holy symbol, doing this lengthy, rehearsed prayer that she kind of stumbles through at parts because she's not the most familiar with some of the incantations, but she's picked them up along the way. You are gauging the distance. You don't have a map or anything, just kind of memory from where you've traveled. You are an outlander, so it's easy enough to calculate. With the reduced speed, because you're pulling more with the mules, it's definitely going to be dark or a little after dusk by the time you reach Ghalst by your memory.
All right. I'll wait till after the healing commences, and it's probably a few minutes that passes before she talks about anything.
Yeah, and it'll take 10 minutes
But-
for the prayer of healing.
It's probably about 11-ish a.m., I'll say.
Yeah, I
so
think
you've
it
got a
was.
good number of hours to travel before you reach your destination.
Okay.
Prayer of healing.
Lorelei, as you're reading this novel, yeah, you can go ahead and roll that. It seems to be the story. It's
Come
set
on!
in an era pre-Avacyn, but post-vampires. There are some references to vampires. You're not sure exactly when this was written, so it could be a relatively new-ish publication, but this book is an old copy. But yeah, it's the story of a warlord's son who became a conqueror in the area that's now Gavany, before the, in the Moors area, but before the kind of evolved to the Moor situation it is in the landscape. You've got enough hours to read through. It's this guy who, tries to impress his father, but never really can. He's a devoted son to his mother, but highly cruel conqueror in that era, when that was more done before the church kind of organized the land. There were noble houses that would skirmish and parse out their land and take over other areas. His brother fell in love with a woman, and then he fell in love with the same woman and had his brother killed, and then tried to claim her for his own. She leapt off a balcony. In his despair, he turned to vampires and became one himself.
I know this story, Jake. I know this story. You got me.
It's the story of Strahd von Zarovich.
Knew it. I fucking knew it.
What is this story?
You know, Curse
It's
of
the Curse of
Strahd?
Strahd.
Oh,
That's his whole backstory. Wasn't until the bit about falling in love with a woman that I caught on. I was like, okay.
It's like, all right. Yeah, I'll say maybe it gets to be about. If you said we wouldn't make it there till dusk, should probably wait until closer to what I gauged to be 2 before surprisingly slowing down to be near the cart and everything else. After everything that just happened back there with all the undead, there's probably some stuff or what I can gauge as to why some of this has happened. How many of you have heard about the village Ghalst being no more? Because it's not just a rumor, it's true.
So we're bringing this up after we're halfway towards the town where we think we're about to settle down. Nice.
Oh. Ghalst was just a waypoint on your way to Silburn.
Yeah, somewhere to rest.
It doesn't used to be like that.
Alright,
Perhaps.
well, what the fuck, Amrita? We should have talked about this while we were taking off, so we could prepare. I thought I was planning on taking a nice little nap in Ghalst.
Well, perhaps you're right, I should have mentioned it sooner, but better now before it gets dusk. I was not originally going there, but it was a wayward point before I was going to go to Silburn. But that village was the start of darkness, where it all began. And I imagine as Amrita starts to talk about it, there's probably a slight change in the tone that Lorelei would probably gauge, but not too much, but it's still, because I imagine Lorelei doesn't know like the full extent of the story as well. This is the first
I just
time
kind of
she's
know
ever
that that's
heard it.
where everyone else came from before she met them.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of where her knowledge really ends.
And in the passing of night, there were monsters of kinds crawling over the walls. I remember because I had to shoot an arrow at one as it was taking a screaming infant away from its mother. In the end, while several of the townsfolk were beaten or destroyed, me and some Cathar, as well as a couple of other acquaintances at the time, who later became more than that, attempted to see what was going on. And we discovered that there was a cult, though we did not know. What they were trying to do was bring back some sort of devil. And of course, they had taken many children's lives in the process as well. We managed to save some, but in short, the town ended up being lost. All of Ghalst, 2 Cathars died of the consequences of our failure. And a devil was known as the name River Axe, if I recall correctly. One thing led to another. Some of us eventually traveled to Korsava. I don't remember the rest. I try not to think about it, but the Burgomaster Jan ended up being a member of the Veiled. And it's because of him. It doesn't matter now. He's dead, but there's more like him out there. But Ghalst has been no more ever since that rising. And several people, just death has lingered or followed ever since. And Rita just sort of sighs and stays quiet afterwards, and briefly almost looks like she's gonna look back toward Lorelei, but doesn't, and just continues walking forward with Petunia.
Are you scared about going back?
Not scared, but a warning that many people have died. And the consequences. While a mere cougar in the forest might have seemed like something, there's things far worse. The worst I could say that could be there are trapped souls of some of the men and women who died along with the children, including some of the people I've met there.
Would it be safe to go there at all then?
The problem is, it is a wayward point, and the only way to get to Silburn is passing through there. There's no roundabout way. We can only hope and try to survive the night, but there will be many ruins there.
That's a fucking terrible idea. No offense against you. We'll settle early, spend the night, and then in the morning we'll do a roundabout around Ghalst. I don't want us to get anywhere near there. If it's ruins as you say, we shouldn't be going anywhere near there.
She just nods and goes back to leading ahead of the cart with Petunia after telling her tale.
Depending on how far you want to skirt around it, you're going to have to either make your way into the Summerwald or try your luck on the outskirts of the South Farbog marshes.
Maybe not give it that wide of a berth.
Tristan.
I don't remember. How dangerous is the Somberwald?
It's not dangerous.
Like more animal dangerous or more monster dangerous?
Roll a history or a nature check. Your choice. You've been told to avoid the Summerwald if you can. You know one of the passes that leads into Kessig, into the Ulvenwald. You have to pass through the Summerwald forest. So it is doable if there's a road. You're not sure exactly what you'll encounter, but you know going off the beaten path is just going to slow you down that much more on your travel. Not that you haven't been already, so it's a risk worth taking.
Okay. Decision time. Slow path through Somberwald, or we just plow right through the center of Ghalst during the day, which will probably be not as bad as during the night. Maybe.
I say that we plow through during the day.
We have the health to plow through during the day if something shows up, or do we just run? We move pretty fast. We can always just
If we stick to the path, if we stick to the path through Ghalst, we might just be able to go through faster than faster than usual.
You know, the road doesn't like go directly through the center of town. The town was a walled off village next to the road, so if you stick to the road itself, you'll be passing by it within 100 200 yards, so you'll be in the area, but you don't actually have to walk through the center of a ghost town if you don't want to.
Yeah, let's stick to that path then. I don't think we should go into unnecessarily risky territory just to avoid Ghalst. If we could stick to the road.
Ghost town, yeah. Yeah, so we'll just drive right past it during the day. Set up camp right before.
Setting up camp, fairly normal. You don't find any more way shrines, Avacynian symbols, because you're close enough to civilization, most would stop there. So you've just kind of got to pick a spot. That's up to you, how you want to do that, but I'm going to roll a d12, and one of you guys can have dibs on rolling one as well.
You know what? Salty. Do it.
She's shaking her head. Yeah, go on, Salty. You've had good rolls today.
Don't jinx her.
I know, I'm trying to.
Fuck.
Oh, hang on. Wait,
well, it was supposed to be a d12, but still a 10.
Yeah, roll.
I don't like Jake's face.
Roll it.
Interesting. Okay.
Uh-oh.
So, as you're settling down, what are the watches going to be set?
When have we been attacked the most? Like middle watch?
Yeah, like I went like first watch, and then immediately after you and Asuriel got attacked by the puma.
Yeah, I'll take second watch.
I'm gonna take a watch with Lorelei.
Yeah, come first watch with me.
Alright, Amrita, go last.
We'll leave Amrita and Cillian again.
It just sucks because
Bestie!
this sucks because Stein's not here. Yeah, Stein's not
Cillian will
here to
go
really enjoy this.
with Acrio
Nope, I'll insist.
because he likes
goes
diversity.
with- Aw.
Nah, yeah. It's not as enjoyable when Stein's not here too, so.
Yeah.
Lorelei and Asuriel, Cillian, and Acrio, and Amrita will get up pre-dawn to watch before the sun comes up and the rest of you guys. So you make your way down the road, continuing kind of in a northeasterly direction. As dusk falls, Acrio, you still got that kind of hand-drawn map that was given you to give directions to Silburn for your trip. So it's not very precise as far as locations, but as you're surveying the horizon, Amrita is the first to recognize kind of this blackened line up ahead, just jagged with what her eyes can perceive as shards of buildings. The rest of you just kind of have to squint to even see that there's a little burnt patch in the distance, and you can make camp before getting too close to that.
Yeah. Close to the road, honestly. Pretty much like right on the side of the road. Roads are the safest place. Not like we're gonna fucking hide anywhere. We're in the out in the open. I guess we could do.
Should be more scared of what's not on the road than what is on the road.
Yeah.
Boy howdy, they follow you, don't they?
I don't know if that was supposed to be in public, but you know.
It was.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Just everything follows Asuriel. Just a big shining beacon of eat me in neon.
They sense. Oh my god, Asuriel is like a divining rod or a lightning
She's
rod.
like, yeah, she's a beacon.
So as you've made your way through Stinzia, getting closer, you've seen fields of what were likely barley and wheat. Now it's all just wild grown, as if it were intended to be planted again and tilled, but nobody ever had the chance. So just last year's crop has just kind of sparsely started to spring up, along with a number of weeds. There are animals that forage through it, kind of coming out in the new moon. Nothing immediately harmful as you've been traveling. And yeah, you set up a camp not too far from Ghalst. The sun begins to go down. You can take your rations, the salted meat that you had gotten from Anne and Amel, settle in for the night, and eventually everyone turns in, leaving Lorelei and Asuriel to the first watch. And I need both of you to make perception checks, please.
You're... Wow.
Oh, we are looking!
Oh, yeah. Oh, dang.
We see, we perceive.
Do you have any lights going besides just the fire itself?
Probably not, aside from the fire.
No, but I do got celestial sight.
So Asuriel, you can see a good ways off. What's the distance on that? 120?
Yes.
Lorelei, you're a bit more hampered visually, but you're the first to notice a consistent 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 of padding in the dirt.
Immediately gonna move over to Asuriel, just kind of like stick like shoulder to shoulder with her.
Yeah, when Zero starts hearing it too, she's immediately like, yep.
Yep.
No,
You look in the direction coming from Ghalst. And Asuriel, you're the first to pick up the shape of a taller but kind of hunched figure in gray robes. He doesn't have a hood on, but there's like a heavy scarf on him with a walking stick as he just moves toward you, stepping and using the stick walking fairly pointedly in your direction.
I'm gonna like put an arm out to Asuriel and like kind of nudge her behind me, and just like keep like a protective sort of barrier. And I'm gonna
person, and not a dead one.
We'll see about that. I'm gonna grab my shield. I'm just gonna wait for them to get a little closer.
It's very difficult for you to see anything, Lorelei, because you just got this ambient light from the fire. So you start to pick up this kind of a silhouette, sort of this person, but it's difficult to make out any detail at all. Asuriel, you can see a gray beard, thinning hair that's pulled back, one bright blue eye, and the other one is covered with this leather-looking wrap or patch over the second eye. And he comes closer, not overly concerned with Lorelei's, defensive shield up position. He steps just into the edge of the dim light so that you can make out enough. Leaning on his staff, you can see he's a bit tired, and he says, "Greetings, travelers."
Wait, it's just an old guy. Hello? What are you doing all the way out here? All alone?
Waiting for you. My name is Want.
Well, hello? I'm Asuriel. Why were you waiting for us?
May I sit?
Sure. Take a seat.
Points towards log like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Ah, cocksucker.
Walk over, look over the tents, his bright crystal blue eye surveying everything as he very gingerly takes a seat and kind of stretches out, kind of like rubbing one leg. He's got these heavy, like fur-lined boots on, pulling his scarf a little closer in the chilly night air.
Do you want some food?
I'll be fine. I apologize for the lateness of the hour. I expected your arrival.
How? Where did you come from, Ghalst?
I did what one eye cannot see in this world may see in the next.
What?
Your traveling was foreseen by me. I was too hazy to recognize your caution. It was advised, however. Ghalst is no more. This I think you know.
Amrita told us.
Yeah, we were made aware of that.
Kind of perks up at the name. Amrita Mablethorne.
Yes.
Yeah. Points towards Amrita. Who's sleeping.
Grabs Asuriel's arm, puts it down.
Yeah. Does Amrita sleep in one of the tents, or is she out under the stars? Well, there's no stars, but under the clouds of Stinsia.
I would imagine she's
Being
not
a
far
bad
off.
bitch.
Shut up. She's not far off from the others, but she's kind of sleeping against a tree with her hood up, an arms crossed, and the horse nearby her.
He glances that direction, and what are you guys' passive insights?
Insight's a +6, so that's 16. My passive, yes. 16.
12.
Then Lorelei, you're the only one who recognizes a flicker, just a small upturned curl on the side of his mouth, very briefly, as he sees Amrita. Doesn't seem malicious at all. Might I inquire your names?
Oh, well, I'm Asuriel.
I'm Lorelei. Obviously there's Amrita over there, and we have Acrio and Cillian with us.
I will meet them in time.
Should we wake them up?
I leave that to you. There is trouble All that I can deal with myself. More than anyone servant might deal with. I would like to see Ghalst remade. I was an elder there once. There was life. But there's too many devils. Too many dead in the place now. I don't wish to burden you with this. But there is a witch. A witch I cannot deal with. She would break me. This I have foreseen. Might I ask your assistance, if I may?
I'd love to help, but I'm just gonna wake the others up, just so we can talk about it. Starts
As
going
you see
around,
fit.
going around poking people awake.
Feeling something touching her, she goes to grab whatever the wrist is, but let's go after realizing it's Asuriel.
Hello.
Amrita, you very quickly recognize the elder from Ghalst as soon as you are prodded, and your eyes, all three of them, dart open.
She stands up and looks and walks over to the fire and stands staring down at the man. Why, you're alive. Is it really you, Elder Want?
I am. Remarkably, the gifts of my lord preserve me.
I'm glad. I'm sorry we had to leave in the haste, but you know, the children, we had to get them safe to Korsava.
Of course. And you did this.
Yes, they're all safe. All the children.
This does me good to hear. Ghalst is not forgotten. Yes.
I'm sorry what has happened to your people and everything. And I am, well, as you can see, Amrita looks at the others and backs at the elder. The people I traveled with have either, well, some departed and others. She can't bring herself to say it. Such is the world of Innistrad.
Indeed it is.
Were you actually napping?
No, I was awake. No, but Acrio was sleeping.
But yeah, Acrio is awakened by Asuriel as this conversation is going on.
Asuriel, why?
Your low, kind of gravelly voice speaking with Amrita.
There's an old man from Ghalst here.
Okay, is he trying to kill us?
No, he's trying to ask for our help.
Then can it wait till the morning?
I don't know, he came here in the middle of the night.
I mean, it's like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Well,
It feels later because it's dark.
Why? Did
Stint
he
is
ask to
always very
see
dark.
us?
well, he didn't ask me to wake you up, but he did say he wanted our help, and I don't know. I think we should all discuss it.
All right. Rolls out of his cot, gets up, grabs the hammer and shield, meanders on out of his tent.
So Acrio, as you exit the tent, you see this old man, gray robes, heavy boots, a scarf around his neck, leather eye patch.
And Amrita's awake too?
She seems to be speaking with him nearby.
Oh, great.
Yeah, like she recognizes him and she's standing near him.
Okay, what are we doing? Why? Who are you?
My name is Want. I have seen there would be travelers who might assist those who are capable beyond myself.
He is also one of the few people that remain from the village here. I know I met him last I arrived or passed through.
Nice to meet you. Why in the middle of the night, though?
I had expected you to make it to the town itself. I was waiting. When you did not, I had to make the rest of the journey myself.
Yeah. Oh. This tall over here says the entire town's abandoned and burnt to the ground. I didn't want to exactly risk it, but...
Your caution is well. It is wise. Ghalst is a Ghalst town. The spirits of the dead are restless. They take the ash of their bodies and roam night and day. And I think there are even devils that have taken up residence. But I don't wish to burden you with the town itself.
How are you living in there?
I have protections. I can move among them at times, unseen if I need to be. In time, I would like to cleanse the ground, make it habitable once again. But these are far-off dreams. The more pressing issue is a witch in the Summerwald. I believe at one time she was allied with the cult.
How long ago does this witch have a name?
If so, I do not know it.
Is she one of the causes of why there are spirits that still linger in this village?
It's possible. I think the evil that happened here is the primary reason. The problem that I have foreseen, as you know, the cult stole away with a number of our young children, teenagers, those who have not reached adulthood. Most of them were killed in the ritual that brought the devil Riverax upon our heads. But not all. I have heard the wails of those still in the witch's captivity. I don't know how long she will keep them alive, or for what purpose.
Is what he's telling sound genuine?
You can make an insight check. You definitely know that when you sought out the cult, they had a number of captives, infants up to younger teenagers. You found some bodies that had been already utilized for dark purposes, as well as those that were fed into the ritual. It lines up, and he doesn't sound like he's trying to be deceptive about what he has seen. It's strange to hear someone speak of like this kind of foresight, kind of divination, but it's not
it doesn't
possible.
seem like he's an Avacynian friend.
I mean, you don't see any angelic symbols on him.
Yeah, you don't walk around among demons and spirits as a follower of Avacyn.
Gotta help them then.
Amrita clenches her fist though, and she doesn't know what to say for a few minutes when he tells her that, and she just closes her eyes, briefly just being taken back to what had happened. Not good memories, obviously. Cult has affected many along the road, but is it possible this witch has gotten any passerbys besides ones who could have escaped what was happening in Ghalst?
It is very likely she has her second. Was a woman at one time, I believe, but nothing like it anymore. She takes many shapes. She's barely human anymore. And she prowls the summer world. We have had very few pass by. I cannot say if it was because they were apprehended or simply the season. That I do not know.
She has children. We have to help them. Who's going to, if not us?
Well, it's not a logistic of are we going to help them, it's how are we going to help them. Not exactly in the greatest condition.
That may be remedied. My lord has gifts. I have foreseen your coming and made preparations. If you could follow me, I will keep the dead back.
Insight.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm curious about this lord that he mentioned, so yeah, I'm trying to see what he's getting on about that.
Oh, you have a lord. Stabbed through the neck. Sorry.
He's definitely earnest. It's not like, follow me into my trap, or anything like that.
Come to your doom.
Everything he's saying is fairly straightforward. Just the way he speaks, obviously, is not angelic, like in terms of, an angel, because that would not be referred to in that way. And it doesn't exactly sound as if he's speaking of a human either.
Amrita would still trust him to an extent just because, and she can't really say anything on him dealing with anything non-angelic, so...
Yeah, Amrita would kind of know what he's speaking of, but her memory is muddled somewhat of this time. So whether or not you believe she remembers it or not is up to you.
Of course, the evil werewolf lady would trust him.
I mean, Lorelei trusted him.
I mean, she knew him for that brief time, so anyways. Yeah, the other part, I'm going to say she doesn't remember, because also me as the player, I don't remember.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
Flavor it.
We need not go this evening. Although time is like ash through the fingers. Can't get it back.
I think we need a night. Perhaps speak of this again in the morrow, when the light is up in the sky.
If you need the rejuvenation of the earth, my shrine will boost you farther than this barren rock.
How so?
The lords of the earth, from which all things grow. That is a source of life.
There's no angry cats there, is there?
No. There's sadly very little there anymore.
How far is it? How long would it take?
Unfortunately, it is in the center of Ghalst. But as I say, I will keep a sanctuary around us. The Ghaists, they will not approach.
Lorelei looks to everyone.
We have to get to the center of Ghalst first.
I mean, I can still help repel any Ghaists as well.
I think I'm okay, too.
All right, let's do it.
Oh, it is.
He'll nod and, using his walking stick, pry himself back up. I will wait. Do you wish to break down your camp or leave it as is?
I say break it down. What do you think?
Well, we're gonna rest for tonight. We need to.
Well, he's
In the
offering to
morning.
let you rest at the shrine rather than out here
Oh,
and
okay.
be rejuvenated that way.
Yeah, sure. If he's along for the ride, we'll be a lot less likely to die. Break it down, ladies and gentlemen.
Asuriel smashes a stick.
While they're breaking down the camp, Lorelei will kind of
Lorelei's
approach one
helping.
and be like, "So who's this lord of yours?"
Before the time of Avacyn and the church, humans needed ways to repel the devils, the demons, even the vampires and the wolf. There is a being, has many names. Grindanu, Vagradash, the Lord of the Earth. His presence lingers. It was the reason Ghalst was a green place once. I suspect it may also be the reason it was a target of Riverax. But that I don't know for sure. My own speculation.
And it's to this lord of yours that the shrine is dedicated.
It is. It has existed since before time was recorded.
Is he friendly to outsiders? I don't want to intrude.
Is the forest. Is the rock.
I found home there before. I see what you mean.
Then you may yet again.
And she goes to help break down the rest of the camp.
Yeah, as they're like talking, Acrio's like holding two rods, and he's like, "Look, Lorelei!" As like the other side falls down because she's not holding it.
She like broke away in the middle of helping him take a tent down.
Yeah.
Just ignoring him for a minute. It's like, sorry, I had to ask.
You would probably see Cillian helping, but seems to be kind of contemplating and lost in his own world.
Helping.
Helping.
The Vistani are known for breaking down camps pretty quickly.
Yeah,
He might not
is.
be the most enthusiastic about it, but he has some skill.
He gets
It's like-
stuck in the tent.
Trips over a rod.
It's like a guy that's been working for 24 years and he doesn't even like look at the fish he's
Yeah, he just
butchering.
like looks somewhere else and it's just doing it completely fine. It's
Yeah.
muscle memory.
Yeah, walking over with Petunia to Eldrawant and everything, Amrita is going to just whisper to him, I need to know something. If there's been Ghalst in this village, are there some that have taken on the shapes of who they used to be in life? Do you know?
As I say, they, at times, draw the burnt ash of who they once were, their town once was, around themselves. They are physical in a sense, but lost. They scrape for what could have been.
Do you think that could have happened to a few of the people I knew before? Not all of them died per se within the village, but still, I need to know this.
The ways of Innistrad are a mystery to most. The dead and those that are undead. I cannot say what reasons there may be. I cannot dispel your fears that they may be, much as I might like. Only pray they remain asleep.
Agreed.
And when everything is broken down, he will lead the march, approaching midnight, toward the remnants of Ghalst.
Sleep anyway.
Lorelei's way too eager.
For heresy, for getting fucking her head chopped off by Acrio. Sorry, bro.
So Cyril got
Check
heard
check
something
the
about-
barrels for an executioner's axe. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need to check them. I already know what's in there.
I'm checking just to make sure I know where it is, so I can stop getting it.
Mhm.
I don't need an axe to bash her head in.
Oh, he has a hammer.
Yeah. Bit sad, innit?
Yeah. Do you need a marching order for if we're going and following him at all, or?
You can, although it's not going to be pertinent
Okay.
per se. But if you want to ride next to him, that's fine. Taking the carts, your horses, and yourselves, approaching the city, or what was once, there is a lingering doldrum around it, a deathly silence. Breaking off of the road, turning toward where the walls once stood, now just cinders, singed boards blackened with fire. There are some buildings that still stand. All of them have what look like a layer of snow covering them, bits of carts, broken barrels, ragged fence lines. Everything is covered with this thin layer of what could be snow, but as you kind of brush your finger against it, it crumbles into a gray ash that has descended on this place. There are a decent number of footprints kind of to and from in it, all very similar, you would suspect, likely wants, as well as drag marks toward Lorelei. You're the first to see rows of earth that has been mounded in about 7 foot long by 3 or 4 feet wide, just one after another, all marked with names, although whether or not they exactly signify who's underneath them is unknown. Through the city you catch glimpses of movement. In a burned out window, you see the shape of a person that just kind of paces and then kind of slowly turns and spins. In the darkness, Asuriel, you can see that this body is not entirely physical. It does seem to be made mostly of ash. It reminds you quickly of the undead that you had fought in Corsiva, the ones that had been burned to death. And it's not entirely there. Pieces of it are missing, and you can kind of see a spirit-like form that is making up the rest of that space, as if the ash has pulled it to it. At intervals, you see them peek around corners, but none of them approach. Want looks and focuses in on them, and something about an aura around him. None of them approach. Most disturbing of all, at times there is a echoing, giddy laughter. Just a shrill somewhere within these burned out houses. And Want will just look up. The lesser devils. I can't find them, but they are here. Someday I will repel them. But I know not how long this will take.
You could help with that? I don't really know the
Perhaps.
wording spells.
In time. In time.
I know of some herbal remedies that can help you see. creatures like that, but that's about all I really have.
I have similar recipes. The issue is finding the herbs. Very little grows around Ghalst anymore. All is weed and wild. I don't mind the untamed nature of the land, but navigating it is much harder these days. Wand will lead you to the center of the village. You can kind of tell it's difficult to make out exactly where the borders were. Most of the structures have been burned completely to the ground. Only a few remain what might have been like a longhouse for communal meeting area. It's not far away. Stone hearth in the middle of it is one of the only things standing. And you approach a small stone, not a dais exactly, but raised area of smooth stone, probably 20 feet in diameter, in the center of which is an old well.
While looking around, because Amrita's kind of in a daze, just as she's riding her horse, sort of slowed in her movement, but going, does she by chance recognize any of the buildings, like say the inn or the church or whatever they had that wasn't a church there?
They did have a church, a chapel. It was stone, so you can see where the foundation of it, it's collapsed in on itself at this point. Part of the bell tower is still standing halfway up. The other half of it is kind of collapsed in. And you recognize where the old inn had been, but it is completely burned out as well. You can kind of like move your feet and shuffle around some of the broken boards.
Don't step on a nail.
Yeah. I guess she finds herself sort of staring and lingering at it for a moment before just continuing on.
Where are we staying?
Want will gesture to the well. Inside. Beneath the earth.
Stuart's gonna look down. It's like, it seems kind of tight for all of us.
Looking down it, you can see probably 30 to 40 feet down, you see water flowing. You look around, there is also dry patches and a greenish twinkle that kind of shimmers over the water that you can see.
It's pretty down there, though.
You can see the wood that kind of holds where the bucket and pulley system that goes down there is newer, untouched by fire, probably constructed much more recently than the destruction of the city itself. There's a rope with a bucket, but there's also a more advanced pulley set of ropes that have like a plank across it, and Want will kind of shakily step over the edge of this stone well, putting a foot on that, getting his balance, holding the rope, and stepping on the other way, slowly begins to move the rope of the pulley. I shall await you. Be quick. And lowers himself down.
Okay.
The donkeys won't die. The donkeys will not die. Alright, we're going down the well. I'm going
What?
down the Acrio will go down the well.
Sure
Roll a
will
D2
follow.
for how many donkeys die.
Oh!
That means one has to die.
No matter what you do.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, Lorelei will go down.
But
as
no.
well.
Yeah. Lorelei's the first, or...
I think
Who's
Acrio
going
was the
down?
first. I'll go down after him.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually,
Sure.
no. After Asuriel can go, and then Acrio will go, just in case something feels like stabbing her in the back. So Asuriel first. She's the squishy.
Yeah, it sounds like a good plan, but yeah, she'll go first.
Once Want is down, you hear the creaking of this pulley as the rope is pulled back up, and that plank to stand on raises back up, and you can see it within range of stepping.
Should Julie step on and try and figure out how this thing goes down?
If you hold the rope with the plank attached to it, it's kind of like a rope swing, sort of, but then tied together in a triangle. You feel Want pulling on the rope on the other side. You shake quickly, having to clutch it tighter as you kind of swing, but just holding on to it, you feel yourself descending.
She'll hop up at the end and take a good look around, because this place looks interesting.
At the bottom, you have to step into water that's 3 or 4 feet deep, but quickly up onto kind of a stony embankment. There seems to be like an underground river that flows through here. Stone and rock on both sides, so it's exposed enough to draw water from, as well as a flattened area where you can kind of step out onto it. And you see roots and pieces of, old tree that have grown down into this area. There's no trees above it, but you think likely there was a forest here at one point, and the roots remain strong despite growing into nothing. There's moss that covers a few things, and on part of the stony area out of the water, there are several small monoliths, kind of standing stones that have been set up, also with kind of a moss that grows over them, and a tunnel that leads off with these like little fireflies that look like they kind of twinkle on and off.
She kind of looks around the place, like eyes wide with wonders, like, I think this is the prettiest place I've seen since I can remember.
Lorelei's coming right down.
Yeah, Wand standing kind of waist deep in the water will move it for Lorelei to follow.
Do you need help? It's really cold in the water.
I'll live.
Push
Yeah, she
Amrita
just
down
kind
the well.
scrambles up to Asuriel's side.
Amrita will go in last.
Sorry, mate. Tank goes last.
Want will probably say to you, "For the most, I'll be fine. For your friend, I may need an extra pair of hands."
You call me fat. Just sitting there with my arms crossed. There you go, Amrita.
She says nothing yet and looks back toward the village for a brief second before just hurrying down.
Yeah, you can help with the pulley. Your sense of balance is good enough that you can help yourself descend quickly, jumping off onto the dry stone, or at least the shallower area.
And I'll pet the horse, because Amrita's not here to tell me no. I'm like, stay safe. I'll tie them to the well, pat the mules. Hopefully they stay
Petunia
safe.
kind of looks your way and breathes in your face, and it kind of like does that thing with the lips where they're trying to, bite at you.
Ew,
Perfect.
gross.
We could tell that's my horse.
Okay. Mules, pat them. Hopefully they don't die. Check all the cargo. Get on the rope. Hopefully that plank will hold me.
As I said, it's newer rope, newer constructed beams across it. The pulley is kind of crudely made by your estimation, but it looks more like the old style. Like when people, well, I guess this isn't kind of still
When
how
people
it's done.
First
But,
invented pulleys.
Like had those, like the coring drill thing where it's like the handle that you kick around to drill holes and things, but it's sturdy wood, which is what you find quite often near the Sumberwald. So the construction
Like
does
the
hold you, and
Stensons.
Want kind of has to all of you in the bottom can see when Acrio steps on, Want kind of gets lifted out of the water a bit.
Run over and like hold him down.
And you all can help kind of shift the rope as the fully armored Acrio descends.
Just Want goes whoop, and Acrio goes whoop. Yeah. Want! You hear,
Acrio, you see
like crashing as he goes through the roof of the well.
All of you can see, including Acrio now, this root-like area, the standing stones, and kind of the way the earth above this narrow tunnel has kind of a vague face-like shape to it.
I'm gonna run my hand along one of the roots. Just like feel it.
It still feels alive.
Lorelei is like a little like choked up. Like she looks like it's not quite starstruck, but it's like she's struggling with the amount of emotion she's feeling in this moment.
Do these stones look like they have writing on them, or they're just symbols that she might have read up on at a time?
There are definitely symbols on them. You don't recognize them as being angelic. Those of you who do understand the demonic language, they are not that either. They don't appear to be writing, but they are symbols of some kind.
Can I do an Arcana check on that?
Sure.
Nice.
Despite not recognizing them directly, they seem to have some kind of abjuration, some kind of green mana-based warding effect.
I'm just gonna sit down and do a little spell, because this seems like an appropriate place to do it. She's gonna cast a Druidcraft.
Okay.
To see what the weather will be tomorrow.
How does that look when you do this?
Sorry.
Sa, Elasa.
I don't know if it has verbal, somatic. I don't know what kind of components Druidcraft actually has.
Verbal and somatic. She kind of sits near the edge of, well, the ledge that just right before it goes into the water, and looks up into the little bit of sky she can see, and she kind of like does a pulling motion from the sky. And cups her hands, and what if it's raining for some reason? There's just water appearing in her hands. If it's light, it's just like a tiny little sun that appears there for a second. And if there's wind, if it's windy, there's just a leaf going by. Or if it's snow, there's just a bunch of snow that appears in her hands.
Clouds. Hand.
You get a mist, like a small cloud that just drifts across your palm. It's always cloudy in Stinzia, so that's not uncommon, but you don't get predictions of any kind of intense weather. They're moving fairly quickly, so maybe a brisk breeze, but no heavy rain or thunderstorms. No snowfall predicted.
Wouldn't be too bad for traveling tomorrow then. Or wherever we're going.
Want kind of waits and watches as you do this, and kind of as you're completing it and muttering, put a hand on your shoulder. You have a connection to the earth. This is good.
I think so. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know where any of this magic comes from, but it's okay.
It is a mystery to most. But you don't know where you were taught this. It is a skill most cannot master.
No, 2 weeks ago I just woke up in a forest. And I didn't remember anything.
In my foresight, it was more like a mountain. There were very few trees around it.
Wait.
Old man saw
It was
you
like
naked.
a single tree nearby. I wouldn't call that a forest.
Oh, the one saw your butt.
Yeah, she's like
Dad
pulls on her cloak a little bit. It's like, Oh, you saw it. Did you see anything that happened before?
I have seen but the briefest glimpses of your approach.
How long have you been seeing us for anyway?
Different for all of you. I wasn't sure about Miss Mablethorne. She is the hardest to track, but I had hope. It has been several weeks now, I think, since the first vision. Come, we need not rest here near the water. If you need a drink, of course, feel free, there's plenty. But this way, things are a bit more comfortable.
Yeah. Go over and try and dry her clothes a little bit.
And Want will meander his way down through these fireflies, down this darker tunnel, and at the end of it you can see him light a candle and kind of places several on kind of a stone slab, it looks like.
If there's any place that looks like it's suitable to sit down, and Rita's just going to lean against the wall and eventually just sit there for a moment.
Do you follow Want?
Yeah, after we follow him, of course.
Oh, sure. So,
Yeah.
if you follow down this tunnel into this room that he has illuminated, it's larger-ish, more than you would expect for this deep underground. The ceiling is fairly low, more of the roots that kind of grow down across it, but opened up, worked stone in some places. He has a number of pelts and furs that are kind of arranged in a pallet for a sleeping area. Food storage, there are barrels. It looks as though he's been living in this location for some time, just by the appearance of it. And toward the back wall of this room, Amrita, you're familiar with this. The others would be seeing for the first time this stone slab where he has placed these candles and lit and illuminated. There is a human skeleton laid out bare. It's not rotting. There's no additional flesh on it, but it is a dried skeleton, and it is not entirely complete. It's most of a skeleton.
Lorelei's going to walk up to it, curiously.
Are you expecting what I think you're expecting, Want? She looks at him and doesn't say it outright to the others, considering one of them is a Cathar, but just stares at the old man.
He will kind of lean back on his stick. What you are expecting is very unlikely, but I wish.
I'm not trying to be on the negative side, but in the end, it was the last resort that hadn't really neither gained or lost anything.
That is the nature of the world. What is gained comes to be lost. What is lost someday will be found. This is a cycle. It's not one to fight against, rather one to embrace.
Why do you have a skeleton in here?
At one time, this was the saint of my lord, Grindanu, or Fakradash, as he would have known him. The man's name was Lothric. This was in the time before Avacyn, in a time when the angels worked hand in hand with anyone who would fight back the darkness. As I said, there is a cycle to everything. But gifts, yes, I have made preparations for you. Feel free to rest. I will collect things. Firstly, goes over and collects up this small satchel. You hear like these clinking, not quite of glass, but a lower, almost like a gourd that's been hollowed out, and he brings to Lorelei. You mentioned herbal remedies. These will assist.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind.
Apply them to a wound, and it will seal.
Wow, thank you. Did you make these?
I did.
That's very kind of you. I'll use them well.
The least I can do for your handling of this skin witch.
First time you've called
And
her that.
they will-
I hate that name.
In which? What
That
the
is
fuck?
what she is.
Awful. Well, hopefully she won't be for much longer. We can get our hands on her.
And effectively, these will count as 3 regular potions of healing. However, these are not drank; they are topically applied, but it's the same basic rules.
I'm guessing we're not facing someone that's calls themselves a witch and just deals with skincare.
it's just like a Nivea representative. She's like trying to
Yeah.
sell makeup.
This is your Avon calling.
You must kill them. You must get rid of them now. They just
must
sell makeup.
erase
You must
their
Eradicate the skincare witch. She's essential oils.
She tried to sell me micellar water.
Amrita. Want will approach the bones of Saint Lothric again and collect up 5 arrows, bring them to you. You can immediately see that the tips are made of bone. The hunter in this group, and your last. I pray these will serve you well.
She stiffens at the reference to the last group and this current group, but just fine. I will take this and see what happens. But then from then on, be about my business.
It is a boon to me that you do this. I cannot ask more. I envision a time when the city has regrown, and there are footsteps above yet again of the living rather than the dead. This is the first of those steps. But rest. In the morning, you may set out, do as you will. Again, thank you for agreeing. I cannot see what may happen, only what needs to happen.
Yeah, just to bed with Acrio.
Want will come and sit next to you as you're trying to settle in for the evening.
Please get away from me, sir.
Please, no, don't touch me there.
No, don't touch
Seeming
me
to
there.
sense that you are ill at ease.
Yeah, Acrio now
Kind
is
of-
back to his back against the wall, shield on his chest, hammer resting against his armpit.
I'm assuming he's going to disarmor.
Except for the helmet. Helmet stays on.
Always stays on during sex.
Yes.
But as
It's not
you
that-
settle in, shield, probably pulling a blanket up too because it is somewhat chilly, resting his walking stick on his shoulder as he sits on this pallet of furs, looking down at you with his one good eye. He'll say, I do understand your reservations. You serve the church. But more importantly, I think you serve the angels, yes?
Have I read about the old gods in my book literature of the Forge? Because that thing's like at least 2,000 years old, right?
Oh yeah, it's super old.
Because
You can make either a history or a religion check.
Oh god, I'm not great.
That's what it said in the books. It's just super old.
You know, there were references to things called gods from before the time of the church, before the time of the Forge even. I would think most of the parchment and scrolls that you had kind of poured over that do reference them were mostly destroyed, so you don't really know many of the names or the habits or even their relationship to the angels per se.
Yeah, not like, this is every single god that we are currently working with, just in case you encounter them.
They didn't take a census.
But just like references to like instances where a person from this god's following is lent a hand to...
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And that would have been in the much, much older parchment and vellum recordings, not the stuff that was printed on paper.
Yeah, everything. Where you have to like very carefully open the pages or it'll just fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
What was he saying again? I went on a bit of a tangent.
He said
there.
more importantly than serve. He says more importantly than serving the church, you serve the angels. He thinks. Yes.
Yes. That's what I've been put here to do. Yeah.
You think of this as a purpose, a destiny?
I don't think I happened upon the path that I have just out of mere coincidence. There's something set out for me.
This is an old way of thinking. Wise beyond your years, I think. There was a time when the angels and the old gods had more cooperation amongst them. Perhaps not the age of prosperity that we have now, but it was the best that it could be. I hope you don't think we need to be at odds.
I don't trust you. No. Your god hides underground in a well in the middle of a town corrupted by demons and spirits. I'd never trust you. That's just what someone with logical thinking would do. Not that I'm a logical person, but, you know.
To be fair, this shrine was here long before the town was corrupted.
I'm sure it was. And the places where I first learned were constructed long before Avacyn. But that doesn't mean that I don't serve Avacyn. And now, whoever you serve, Avacyn doesn't like it. Because that's what I think. I'm not going to hunt you down, I'm not going to kill you, but this time period, Avacyn is our protector.
But this remains, while Avacyn, your angel, seemingly does not.
Don't you fucking say it, you bitch. Shut the fuck up.
And I think this will remain when the times we live in now have been forgotten and records have washed away. It existed in a time before what we know now. I think it will endure. Despite, and perhaps because, it is underground, in something solid. It is the earth. The earth will never pass away.
Perhaps it will be here forever. But nobody will remember it if nobody's around to worship them.
A tree falling in the forest.
Did it ever really fall?
I suppose only those who find it in the future will know. For tonight, I only ask that while we confront a similar enemy, we think not of being at odds.
Don't hurt
Kind of.
anybody around me. And we're as good as friends.
Smiles slightly, gives you a nod, and uses his stick to help get himself up. Want will go and sit next to Asuriel and kind of just chat with her about what magic she has, that she knows that she can use, and kind of ask about other spells that she probably would never have heard of, but just kind of make conversation. You can all get in a short rest, and if you have hit dice to roll, which you would have at the end of the day, whatever you roll is doubled.
Ooh.
Oh, sick.
One hit
Oh,
die.
sick. 20
Better make
HP.
this count.
41 HP.
So you will receive 14.
Oh, come on. I don't even need that much healing. I am full now.
I am not full, but better than what I was.
I wish I could trade my hit die roll with Danielle right
Hey.
now. She could use it. She could use that way more than I could.
Yep.
Are there any loose pieces of like foliage, like a root or like a leaf that's broken off, that are just like kind of littering?
Oh yeah,
the
I mean
floor?
there's roots that are growing over the ceiling. There's moss
anything
that
that's,
has
like-
covered areas.
like broken off and is like maybe half dead, not quite, or is it all just kind of like connected, or is it only just like debris?
Want keeps this place fairly tidy. I would say he does have an area, a wooden table set up where he had retrieved this little satchel of gourds, where obviously he practices medicinal herbalism. There would probably be some extra twigs and sticks and that sort of thing on it as part of his
Yeah.
ingredients.
I'd just like to
Root
take like a
bulbs and
stray
such.
piece of foliage and just like press it into my journal, just like as a little keepsake of this place. It's like a little twig, a bit of leaf on
Mhm.
it. I'll just take that.
Asuriel might ask Want about the color around her neck because, well, another god, more other knowledge?
Yeah, so you kind of pull your cloak back to let him look at it.
Yeah, she'll let him look at it.
Well, I too recognize it. This was something that the angel Avacyn brought with her at the time of the foundation of the church. It's not something I'm familiar with. Sadly, I'm sorry.
Okay, just asking, but thanks.
It is my understanding it was for binding of demons, devils, those things which, when slain, they reform. Demons are not terrestrial beings, you see. They are formed in the hells, far, far beneath the earth itself. They claw their way out. They are pure mana. The demons are blackest midnight, while devils are condensed, chaotic red magic. Both of them can be bound by such a device. It was the eternal cycle before Avacyn came, that they would come from beneath the earth, plague it for a time, and be killed, only to cycle back into the world. The best thing Avacyn did was remove them, bind them, take them to her Hell Vault, I believe it was called.
Hell Vault? What is that exactly?
What indeed? I have never seen it. Never crossed the Gaia outside of Stinzia in my life. Rumors have it, it is pure moon silver, a sliver of that celestial body itself.
Sounds like it'd be pretty, but if it contains a lot of demons, maybe not.
I cannot speak to its appearance, as I say, but it is, if nothing else, important.
The angel who tried to get it off me said it was some kind of mockery. Well, but not. I didn't hear it directly from her lips, but the priest who was there after I woke up. It's very painful whenever I try to struggle against it.
I'm sorry. Truly.
That's alright.
I would merely advise to push through the pain and don't ever stop struggling against it. There is no reason a person like you should be bound by anything.
Thank you. Try again when I get to Thraben. Hopefully someone can help me get it off.
Just kind of smiles politely through his scruffy gray beard and nods. He doesn't really reply to that directly, but will continue chatting until you wish to sleep, and all of you can.
How far was the pool of water from where we're at? Not that far, right?
Yeah, it's only like 30 feet or so.
Yeah, she will probably just go and sit there cross-legged and stare down at the reflection of the third eye and just lean back and close her eyes, just imitating a meditation state that her mentor probably had done a few times just to focus before falling asleep, going back and going to sleep.
As you're staring down at this reflection, and the eye is like moving and surveying this room, and glances down, seeing your reflection as well, with kind of that hazy ring where the moon should be, reflected through the well above into this water that flows like a stream through here. You just hear a very low voice in the back of your head saying, "Ready when you are." And it just kind of retreats after that.
She opens her eyes again and huffs, but just goes ahead and goes to sleep after that.
You all awake to the early morning smell of a small fire, just campfire style, that's burning in the center of this room. Well, not quite center. It's closer to the exit, so, smoke is kind of pushed that way. You see it drift. There's no breeze, but as if there was a breeze out and up through the well above, and he has this, wrought iron set up over it with hanging pot and coffee that's set kind of in the fire.
Why does coffee smell so good?
A question for the ages. So, top 10 questions science still can't answer.
I would gauge probably mentally she might not have any idea. She's back to her, whatever it is. I can't think of the term. Sober or so? I don't know.
Stoic?
Somber?
Stoic?
Yeah, stoic. Good lord. And she just
Stubborn.
drinks some of the coffee and looks over that alchemy book in the morning.
So as you're reading through the pages of this book, the early preface is kind of a breakdown of what people understand as, the divisions of magic, but then kind of like a scientific approach. And make an insight check as you're doing that. Okay. You're reading, so it's hard to get the author's tone exactly. I imagine it's been a long time since Amrita has done much reading, anyway, since she was much younger. But yeah, it's all taken with a very practical approach. And as you're reading, there's a darker tone to it, like, references to reanimation and that sort of thing, and chemical processes that can be imbued with various forms of magic for a myriad of purposes, not all of which are you would think the most positive.
Eventually she just shuts it and puts it in the bag.
But there are a good number of recipes and things that you can glean from it.
Yes, now I just need to eventually get an alchemy kit.
Such as you weren't stubborn.
Such is the dilemma. It's like, I
Yeah.
can make this. I just need the stuff
Yeah, I can make this. I just need the kit.
and the ingredients.
Here's where I would put all my alchemy. If I
had any.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so weird. That's so strange. That's
Where's my alchemy gone?
That's weird. That's so weird. I'm almost
Brand new alchemy
I
gun.
do things like that.
Yeah, because I think I can make up to 3 potions right now if I had one, but I can't right now because I don't have
Isn't
a
it up to
kit.
your proficiency? So I think it's 2.
Oh,
Yeah,
Unless
you have
it's different.
3 recipes that you can
3
learn.
recipes, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
bottles.
2
but yeah.
2 individual things at this
Same.
level, but yeah.
So weird.
But yeah, but
but
Corsiva
yeah, you would
wouldn't
actually
have
need the
really
kit to do it.
had much at least, so I just kind of
I mean, they would have had plenty, but it would have been very expensive. So
yeah. So I'm
Yeah,
that's
shit ain't
why I'm
cheap.
waiting. Yeah, that's why I'm waiting and got the horse instead
Yeah.
anyway. So
Yeah, alchemy can't carry you across the land, so
Yeah,
this is a better
so-
investment.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, kind of as we're having this coffee and breakfast in the morning, after checking on everyone, Lorelei just clears the throat, so what's the plan from here? I know we were kind of intending to go to Silburn, but I'd obviously rather do this first.
I didn't. What? Yeah, of course we're going to go kill the witch.
I know, but I'm just making sure that we're all on the same page.
God help you if you weren't on the same page. What are we gonna leave one guy behind that wants to solo run it to Silburn?
Look, I don't know. I don't want to assume. I just wanted to make sure everyone knew what we were doing and what we were getting into.
You're killing a witch.
Yes, hopefully Asuriel doesn't die in the process.
I've been lucky so far.
Speaking
Very
of,
lucky.
She kind of slowly knocks on the wood beside her.
I spent 2 spells trying to handle situations. And it's not your fault, Asuriel, for snuffing them out, but just going forward, we gotta be careful with that kind of stuff. You're, all due respect, you are very, very killable. And when we're out in the wilderness, things want to kill you first.
I noticed.
So,
It's the way of nature. It's nothing personal, Asuriel. You haven't done anything wrong.
So, when I'm casting, let me stay in the front. Just stay behind me. If I cast a spell to protect you, it's usually for a reason. And
All right.
so, casters in the back, tanks in the front, Amrita wherever Amrita goes.
What do I
just goes
count
in.
as?
I don't know. You're kind of mixed in the middle right now. You're cast magic, but you
card.
also have. Yeah, you're the wild
Yeah,
card.
I'm the wild card.
If you're dying,
And
stay
Cillian's
behind
in the
me.
back, and he's definitely not a caster.
Well, he throws things, and he's not wearing any armor either. If you don't have the the less armor you have, the farther from the enemies you should be.
And Cillian will be like, "Beside, I might be in the back or I might be in the front. You never really know, do you?"
We have too many wild cards in this group.
Well, you know,
But the the golden rule is that Acrio, you are definitely the one who should be at the front, if anybody, and Asuriel should be at the back, if anybody. That seems to be the consistency we want to go for.
Try to stay on my ass as much as you can. Because if you're on my ass, then things can't sneak up behind us, which for some reason they really like doing, and killing people that are a little too far away. So don't... Tight formation, casters in the back.
Yeah, stick by Acrio or stick by me. Just make sure you're covered.
Be cautious, Cathar, as I said.
Be sticky.
2 Cathars were already taken down once by devil-related things and members of the Veiled. So be cautious.
People die every day. Cathars, non-Cathars.
None of us
A
can
lot
die.
of people.
Nobody's dying.
Well, now you jinxed it. Now I'm definitely going to die.
Shut up! No, you're not. You're gonna be fine.
I'm gonna
Everyone's
go up.
gonna be fine.
I'm
That's,
gonna go
that's
near the
why-
entryway
why
and
you
make sure the livestock is not dead. I won't go up, but I'm going to just go see if I hear any of them.
All right. Have fun with that, Amrita.
Yeah, you step onto that little plank, pull yourself up the rope. With the pulley, it's fairly easy. Approaching the edge of the well in the early morning dawn, still kind of a hazy light. It does appear as though all the animals are fine, untouched, but you can see at the edges, the rim of this, not exactly a dais, but this stone area around the well, several shambling zombie-like things that are just watching and rotating around it. And again, you hear that maniacal, high-pitched laughing somewhere out there in the remnants of this town. And that's where we're gonna drop the curtain on this week's session.
Oh, what a visual to end on! Just the
Yeah.
ring around the rosies, pocket full of zombies.
Yeah.